How to select the best treatment for depression among adolescents, made by Irán Elisa Di Rivera. More than 700,000 adolescents die by suicide each year. Suicide is the fourth leading cause of death among 15 and 29 years old. Although there are known and effective treatments for mental disorders, more than 25% of people in low and middle-income countries do not receive treatment. Barriers to effective care include a lack of resources, a lack of trained healthcare providers, and social stigma associated with mental disorder. The WHO projects estimate that by 2030 the leading cause of death in the world would be mental disorders. In Mexico, these conditions rank fourth in medical complications, and depression is one of the most frequent. Age indicates that 29.9% of inhabitants over 12 years of age suffer from some level of occasional depression, while 12.4% experience it frequently. And sometimes the recommended treatment is not enough to treat depression. Major depressive disorder, MDD, does not respond to antidepressants or psychotherapy. In medical terms, this is called treatment-resistant depression. For decades, neuroscientists have been experimenting with the use of deep brain stimulation to treat neurological disorders such as Parkinson's disease and epilepsy. The procedure consists of implementing electrodes in the treatment so that they reach certain parts of the brain. Previous research at UCSF had identified neural activity and biomarkers that correspond to a variety of emotional states, including depression. These studies also found a part of the brain that will function as a potential target for this electrical stimulation procedure. So, how does it work? During treatment, the electrodes are transmitted through bone conduction headphones. Once the patient is asleep, controlled electrical pulses trigger an effect on neurons in the brain that lasts for a minute and releases chemicals that the brain itself cannot produce. When the patient wakes up a few minutes later, he can go home and continue with his day after the session is over with no adverse effects. ECT is usually given 2 to 3 times a week for a total of 6 to 12 treatments. However, the number of treatments you will need will depend on the severity of symptoms and how quickly the patient responds. The price of the product will not be as conventional as any medication prescribed for its treatment. However, the product is designed based on clinical studies carried out by UCSF to improve the quality of life of people with MDD. Depression is not a superficial problem. It is not enough to give advice or comfort a person who plunges, each day that passes, into a deep sea of anguish and loneliness from which it's impossible for them to get out on their own. Hence, it is important to generate social awareness to detect and prevent these cases from leading to the fateful decision to end life.